Hello, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a spirit navigator. I'm a psychic. I'm a medium. I'm a teacher. And I'm just an all around like spiritual flunky that gets on here and does political predictions. That's what I'm going to be doing today. Thank you for sending in your questions. We've got a lot going on right now, do we not? The questions are all over the place. So no, we're not going to talk about Trump a lot, but I would say that this may be red or this may be orange, depending on your monitor. And that is the theme for today's video, which is we're going to be threading a needle with these predictions because humans have free will, everybody. If I could tell you exactly without one smidge of doubt and with 100% accuracy what was going to happen in this world, I wouldn't be talking to you. I love you guys. I really love you guys, but I would have all the money in the world and I would be somewhere in a really posh, isolation way, place where I didn't have to deal with this BS, right? Okay. So no, psychics don't know everything. We know a lot more, to be honest with you, than people that don't use their psychic abilities or don't have that capability. However, we don't know everything. So this is actually orange. It may look red to you. Sponsor of this video. I'm also wearing orange because even though 45 is orange, so is a prison jumpsuit. Get it? Got it. Let's get going. First question off the bat is Sharon, who says, could Nikki Haley be the Republican candidate? I like the way you think, dear, when she put all caps the word win, Trump goes to jail. I love the way you think. And yes, I think he's going to be offline. Is he going to be in jail? Is he going to be in a rubber room? Is he going to be in a coffin next to Ivana? Is he, he's going to be offline. That's what I would say to you. Offline. I don't care how it happens. He's offline. He cannot manipulate the airwaves or people anymore. For you guys that are just tuning in, I'm channeling this 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan. 40% Susan is spicy, and the 60% of spirit guides, they're a little spicy too this morning, so buckle up. Okay, your question is about Nikki. Here's what I continue to see. Yes, they would love to have Nikki Haley, but guess what? Polling is bad. It's true. Polling is bad. However, it's bad because they're not doing it correctly. You better believe that the Republicans are polling their own internal, their own people, and they're doing it correctly. Think about it for a minute. If you say, I would like to buy a new car to someone, all of a sudden, everything in your advertising world is about a car, right? Google is listening, Siri's listening, everybody's listening. If they can figure out that you're interested in buying a new car, but yet they can't figure out who you want to vote for, okay, that doesn't make any sense, right? Doesn't make any sense. What that tells me is they're not asking the right question. They're not serious about asking the question. However, the Republicans are serious about getting that information. Very serious. Their livelihood, their control, their power, their legacy, their dynasty depends on knowing how these people are going to vote. Now, also, they've got their own marketing machine within the Republican Party, right? And they've created a monster. They've created a monster, which is the Republican constituency that has now decided Trump is their leader. The monster is racist, misogynist, anti-education, anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-immigrant, anti-everything. They created this monster since Ronald Reagan. Now the monsters voted for their head monster, which is Trump. Now they're like, we know they're not going to vote for Nikki Haley. They know that. They're screwed. They're so screwed, you guys. They have no way out. So that is why you see them sort of throwing in with 45, because even though it's a long shot, it's a shot. We know our constituents like him. Let's just hope and pray he gets in. So Now, at the same time, because people are people and people change, right? At the same time, I shared when I was doing a video with Linda that my good friend came to Texas to visit her parents, and her parents live in the reddest, deepest, dark ketchup color red Texas you can get. Her parents are devout Republicans. And he told her just last week, I'm not voting for that crook. And she said, who are you talking about, Daddy? You know what I mean? Like, it was like a non sequitur, right? And he's like, that crook that was in the White House. She's like, are you talking about Trump? Because she was like, whoa, right? So there are cracks in the facade. This man is not voting for Trump. He called him a crook. He's not even convicted yet. There are cracks in the facade. But even when Trump is convicted, even when Trump is offline, I don't see these people in mass, in totality, pulling the lever for Nikki Haley. I don't see it. She's not one of them, and you know what I mean. Now, what I see is a write-in situation. First of all, this man, my friend's dad, is not going to vote. She asked him, are you going to vote for Biden? No, he's not going to vote. What did the spirit guides tell you? What have they been telling you? When your family members start saying, they're all bad, I'm not voting for anybody, we have won. The tide has turned. The sun has come up over the horizon. This is starting to happen. So I think it's going to be a mishmash. I think they're going to vote in, they're going to write in Trump. They're going to write in Daffy Duck. They're going to write in Nikki Haley. They're going to write in themselves. They might even write in, Elvis. I don't know. It's going to be a shite show. They're going to lose. And there's not even going to be a way to count all those pieces of paper and make any sense of it. Pieces of paper mean write in ballots. There's no good. In the end, there's not going to be any clear, even though Biden won, the Republican Party coalesced around Nikki Haley. I don't see that. Coalesced around Trump. I don't see that. It's like 52 card pickup. It's like your guess is as good as mine. The party is exploded from the inside out. Their monster is corrupt. Now they hate them. They don't like their monster. They're starting to hate themselves. They're starting to wake up. They're starting to see, this was a bunch of bull hockey. This guy just took our money. There's no real problems going on. I'm doing pretty well. Remember, the spirit guys told you this summer, all the Republicans were going to have money in their pockets. They were going to be out there on their boat. They're going to be out there at the car show. They're going to be out there whatever it is that they like to do, hunting, fishing, at the concert. They're going to be too busy living to be so upset about the border or whatever it is that they were told is a problem. So that's what I see happening. I'm not worried about it. Believe me, I have things I could worry about. I'm not worried about that. They can't vote for Nikki because she's not one of them. That's what the guides keep saying to me. Okay. I know 20% are writing her in and at these, primaries, which is great, but they're writing her in as a protest vote. And I think that 20% will probably vote for Nikki Haley, but where's the other 80% of the Republican Party going to go? Right? I think the other percentages of the people who actually show up at the poll to vote, which I think is going to be minimal. I think they're going to have the lowest voter turnout on record for Republican vote on the presidential election, the lowest. I'm predicting that. And I think that amongst that lower vote, whoever does show up, 20% is going to go to Nikki. But I think, or maybe even 30%. But I think you're going to have bizarre. It's just going to be all over the map. So it's going to be interesting. And that's why when I go into the energy of the Republican Party, they're freaking out. And that's why I think they're going to realize we're toast. Let's throw in with Jeffries. Let's throw in with the Democrats. Let's try to save our seat. It's every man and woman for themselves at this point. 45 isn't going to save us. The Republican Party isn't going to save us. Maybe I, as a senator, I, as a House member, maybe I need to do what I need to do to save my own seat. That's where it is, the Wild West Okay, let me move on. Ellen says Trump has asked CEOs for $1 billion to help finance his campaign. Will they do it? Well, yeah. Let me see. Will they finance his campaign? Meaning, no. Right now, no. If he got into office, yes, they would do whatever they could to procure his help. But right now, I don't see them giving him $1 billion. I don't ever. That's the guides are saying that's yes in Monopoly money. The guides said yes, they'll deliver Donald suitcases full of Monopoly money. They're not that desperate to give anybody $1 billion. The guides just told me, and listen, for entertainment purposes only, but this is what they just said. They could go to a country that has mega oil resources, not Saudi Arabia, but another country, and pay off a dictator for a lot less. So yeah, he's a luxury president to buy off. They have other ones that are cheaper. That's sad. What other questions did you ask me on that? When will this horrible corporate behavior will come to an end when we stop it? You know, it's at all levels, you guys. It's at your local school board level where they're banning books. It's at your state level where they're banning abortion. It's at the federal level where they're, doing things, where the Congress is doing things. And it's at every level. We have to stop it. We have to get more involved than we've ever been in our lives. Some of you watching this broadcast were pretty involved in the 60s, right? We're talking about that level or more of involvement. We've got a right to senators and House members, even if they're not in your state, but for sure if they're in your state. Listen, I'm in a red state. I'm not even a blue speck. My blue speck got 8 by a red dot. Okay. I get it. And I also get that it can be dangerous, honestly, dangerous to stand out in a local school board hearing. I get it. That's why the spirit guides are saying band together, create groups. It's a lot harder for them to attack a group. It's much easier to attack one person. If you have a group of 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, hopefully even more, you can support each other. You can travel in packs. You can have much more effect. Okay. So we have to fight back. Now, luckily, I do see Biden winning, and I do see us getting a Democratic Senate and Congress. And I do see us attending to these rogue judges, to the rogue Supreme Court justice. And I do see the DOJ going after anybody, be they Democrat, be they Republican, anybody that has broken a law. I see that. But you guys, look how long it takes to go through our justice system. And I'm not saying we should make it any faster, because everybody deserves their day in court, and everybody deserves time to get their own defense together. There's a reason, okay? I mean, it's going to be faster. It should be faster, but it can't be next day. We're not that place. We do need to have due diligence, right? So this is going to take a while for justice to happen. In the meantime, we can do our part to help out the DOJ by putting pressure on your media. That's kind of a big deal. Back in the day, remember back in the day when you read those things called newspapers, and you would read the opinion page in your local town, and you would say, oh, there goes Ed, or there goes Sally. She's all concerned about that new wastewater treatment plant. Well, that's citizen journalists. That's us being a citizen in our community. We have to get involved in all these different ways. We can't just simply leave it up to the DOJ. Yes, they're going to do a lot, but we need to also help in any way we can. So if you do nothing, yeah, things are going to get better. If we do something, things are going to get better faster. That's what I would say. Next question is from Just Questions 8. Will Mitch McConnell leave the Senate this year? If yes, before or after this year's election? Mitch McConnell is my nemesis. I've been reading on him for 3-4 years. And look, guys, he doesn't follow the energy. That's what I'm reading as energy here. I've always given you guys the metaphor of Mitch McConnell is the only dummy that would stand on a golf course in the middle of a lightning storm and raise his putter and say, go ahead, give me your best shot. The rest of us are running, for cover. He's standing in the middle of it. Benjamin Franklin, challenging God and everybody else. So like, to take that into present term, he's standing in front of the media and TV cameras, like literally going off, fritzing out, going offline, like, gone, Mitch is gone. Hello, snap, come back. Anybody else would have already stepped down. That's my point. Anyone else would have already been pushed out. The Republicans do not care anymore. If they're embarrassed, they don't care if they're caught lying. They don't care if their health is not up to the job. They have absolutely no self-esteem. They have no ethics. I've read on this many, many, many times. The last time I went into his energy, he told me, I want to die on the Senate floor, or he at least wants to die as a senator. Now, when I go into this energy, I see his wife, whom somebody in his wife's family died. Her car went into a pond at a ranch type place in Texas, owned by a company that she worked for. And she was on the phone in the car while it was sinking, calling her friends. So it's a big, let's say it's property. And there was a house where she had just left a party. And she was leaving the house, driving the road through the property, and somehow her car went in the pond. She called her friends at the house, telling them that she was sinking. She died. Despite the fact that Texas is, redder than ketchup, the local sheriff said this was not an accident. Well, maybe I should check on him to see if he's still alive. So they're investigating that as a crime. So when I asked about McConnell, I went to his wife and then I went to this woman. Okay. That's what the guides did. They took me to this woman and they took me through that whole scenario that I just told you. You can look it up. You can look up McConnell's wife's family member that died in a pond. I've always read that his wife, and again, the women, right? The women, you guys. Because when I go into Justice Thomas's energy, it's Ginny that's going to take him down. When I go into Trump's energy, it's a woman that's going to take him down. When I go into McConnell's energy, it's his wife that's going to take him down. Again, let's talk about the words take him down. You in your mind might say, oh, he's going to, be unalived. He's going to cross over. Somebody else might say, oh, he's going to prison. Somebody else might say he's going to retire. Take him down can mean all kinds of things, like this is red or this is orange. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? All I'm telling you, he's offline, not in the Senate. He's offline. That's all we care about, right? We don't care how spirit solves the problem. In your own personal life, you've got to give it up and let spirit solve the problem in the best way possible, because sometimes you don't know the best way possible. Sometimes you're not the best arbiter of that. So give it up. So in this way, I think McConnell, his days are numbered. His time is out. That's what the spirit guides are telling me. 24. I just saw 24. I think he will leave the Senate one way or another in 24. A lot of this, and I don't understand this, but this is what they're telling me again. And they've been telling me this. They've been telling me this in different scenarios. So now I'm starting to understand this has an impact on a bigger swath of our energy, of the different scenarios that we're talking about here. And that is, once Trump is contained, offline, taken care of, whatever that means, whether that means, again, all those things. We don't care how spirit handles this, do we? We don't care. once he's out of our hair, so to speak, then it's like all these other things that orbit him, that orbit 45, will also go offline. If what the guides, it is a fascinating visual, to be honest with you. If you want to think about a planet with orbiting moons or something, I don't care what you think about, but whatever that thing is in the middle, whether it's a planet or whatever, it's the power source. And then when it goes dark, when the power is cut to that power source, all those orbiting moons drop out of the sky. Their power is cut too. Isn't that brilliant? I wish they'd have told me that like a year ago, or even 6 months ago, even 6 days ago. But anyway, here we are. They have told me for a couple of months, once 45 is taken care of, everything else is open season. So that's when I know, and this is how I've described it in the past, is that once 45 is taken care of, then I see Jack Smith refocusing on all those other players, all those Congress people, right? This is what the spirit guides have always told you, is that midsummer to late before the election, target letters, indictments are going to go out to these Congress people. But what I feel like right now, today, May 17th, is that they're going to take care of Trump. Once he's gone, the power gets cut to all the other people and they fade away too. I love this. I love this for us. I love this for him, and I love this for them. You know, let's put us all out of our misery, right? So I think that's fascinating. Let's hang on to that, because I love that visual of once the power is cut to Trump, the power is cut to all his orbiters. Is McConnell an orbiter? So when I say orbiters, I think of like the Freedom, whatever they are, caucus in the House. I don't really see senators so much as in Trump's orbit as much as I see the House members. So I'm just going to look really quickly and see if McConnell is in that orbit. McConnell's in that orbit because for a different reason. Okay. He's in the orbit for a different reason, which is that McConnell's all about power. McConnell's all about appointing judges. McConnell is all about moving the needle towards the R. And he realizes not only is it game over for the Republican Party, which I did a whole video called The End of the Republican Party, and I did it at least 7 months ago. 7 months ago, the spirit guides told you this was going to happen. It's happening right now. So now that the end of the Republican Party, he has nothing. He has no power. So if he has no power, he's out. He doesn't want to. Why would I put up with what he's saying to me is, why would I put up with this if I don't have a hope doing what I want to do? It's like working at a job and not getting paid, basically. Now, let me tell you what they showed me, and I didn't say it out loud, is that it's not only this election. Because McConnell has been out of power before, right? He just waited until he got back in power. You know, they have a long view. But McConnell's going to step down because A, his health is terrible. B, he's old. C, not only is the power out of commission this November, but it's out of commission the midterms, and it's out of commission in 28. If you have very little hope of winning an election, a big power surge, and the next two elections, and you're his age and your health, well then, time to cash in your chips. Okay? I think he's going to cash in his chips. But there's also energy around his wife and this woman crossing over. I think he's worried. I think he is not caught up 100% in nefarious things, but potentially could be caught up enough that he doesn't want anything to do with it. It's like, again, they're showing me Mike Pence. You got so close to crossing that line and being in that chair next to, Trump, being a defendant. You got so close, but he didn't cross the line. That's where I see McConnell. So close, not going to cross the line, not worth it. No, thank you. I'll cash in my chips instead. Let's move on. So when I answer one question, you can see that I'm answering 20 questions, right? Because we talked about the bigger picture of the Republican Party. Melinda says, when will Mark Meadows be indicted by Jack Smith? Does he have the big binder? If you don't know what the big binder is, there is this whole project called Crossfire Hurricane, which was Russia meddling in the 2016 election, and they investigated. It was called Crossfire Hurricane. Well, unfortunately, Trump won, and now the binder has gone missing. The binder has gone missing. And I did a video about that missing binder a while back, I don't know, months ago. Let's see. So Mark Meadows, he's on the hook. I just heard he's on the hook. Mark Meadows, what is going on? I see he might have already gotten a target letter. So a target letter is a nice way of the feds saying, hey, we are investigating you, right? Heads up. We're not indicting you, but we're targeting you. We're investigating you. I don't know. They don't have to do it. There's no law that says they have to do it, but they often do it. Right. Okay. Right. They're telling me, I read on this before. I asked them, why would you do it? Who would give a criminal, an alleged criminal, a heads up? Why would you do that? Because the cover up is usually bigger than the crime. I remember this whole video now that I'm telling you what they're getting Trump on right now is the cover up, not the crime. So it's oftentimes the cover up proves the crime, but the cover up is a bigger crime than the original crime. It takes the crime to a new level of culpability. The reason that they would be giving Mark Meadows a heads up target letter is because then you go around and you start scrubbing your social media, you start deleting text, you start calling your friends or your co-conspirators and saying, hey, go and destroy evidence, whatever. But and especially somebody like Jack Smith, when Jack Smith sends you your little, hey, heads up, here's your target letter, they already have the goods on you. Jack Smith would never, ever, ever give his hand up. He would never expose his next move. He already has all those texts. He already has enough. He has enough corroborating witnesses that have your text. You know, like if you send a text, that means somebody else has the text, not just you. So it means to me, what I'm getting is that Jack Smith already has that person's text. So if you delete your text, you just covered it up. You understand? So I feel like Mark Meadows is on the hook. He's up next. I just see FBI for some reason. I'm getting FBI agents around his energy. So now I've also seen him flipping sort of like a Michael Cohen. So he might become like a Michael Cohen type figure as well. Let me just look and see who has the binder. First of all, there's a copy of the binder. I read on this before, right? They're reminding me what I saw before. There's a copy of the binder. And I thought it was funny at the time because those of you that knew what a Xerox machine was, you know that when you copy something like a lot, the quality gets worse and like it just gets terrible. And so the copy of this binder, you guys, it's been copied so many times that the quality is terrible. It's really terrible. I mean, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that this is a copy of a copy of a copy, which I know freaks y'all out. I'm sorry. I'm channeling. It would freak Susan out, but I'm not able to be freaked out because I am on board with 60% spirit guides and they have no emotion about anything. So sometimes I think it's funny because I don't have any emotion. I could see the humor in it. I can't see the panic in it. It doesn't really matter who has the binder. Is that right? I mean, it matters to me. It doesn't matter because the binder's already been disseminated. I mean, why does it matter? Like if you lost a sweater, I swear to God, you guys, I swear to God, this is the analogy they're using. It is not me. Please take that under consideration. If you lost a sweater and you left it at a friend's house and they wore your sweater, and then they stayed over, and then somebody else got that sweater and they wore it 4 times, and then they gave it to their other friend or their sibling, or somebody came by and took it, and then you see that person wearing your sweater and it's already been worn by all these people. You want that sweater back? You want to go get that sweater back? No, you don't. The damage is done. Your sweater is skanky. It's skanky, y'all. No dry cleaning is going to save your sweater. The data is out there. It's been disseminated. It doesn't matter anymore. What matters now is justice for who took the binder. Yes. Justice for who the binder was sold to. Yes, if possible, because it was a foreign country. So how are you going to hold them accountable? But also, what we need to do is circle back, come back into our energy instead of, and this is a message for you as well, right? You're putting all your energy out there. That doesn't work. Bring it back to you. Your power's here. We're going to bring, the United States is going to bring its energy back to itself, to our laws, to our government, to what the citizens want. We're going to elect law and order people who are like, no, you're not going to break these laws. You're not even, these things that are customs, that are traditions, we thought were laws. We're going to make them laws. We're going to make laws. And then we're going to start holding people that would in the past not be held accountable to the laws accountable. So we're going to make justice more even. That's how we're going to fix the binder thing. The damage has been done. The guides are saying the damage has been done. Now what we need to do is, we don't even need to do this, because the guides just showed me a whole movie in my mind, which is it's not what we need to do. It's what we need to, I don't know, do. They're having a problem with what we need to do, but to me, the energy, the message is still the same. We know we need to act on information we already got. Okay. So do, I guess, means we need to go out and do something. But again, they're bringing it home and saying, we already know. We need to act on it. So we know this binder got out because our spies already told us. We know everything. I've already told you guys 1,000 times. Biden is the intelligence president. He will go down forever as being the intelligence president. Are you going to hear about it? No. Are you going to hear about it in the future? Yes. He values the intelligence community so much. He gets briefed with intelligence briefings 3 times more than any other president. That's what they just told me. Biden knows all this. It's just a matter of waiting until the right time to strike. That's a Scorpio. He's not going to sting you when it's a waste of his time and energy, but give the man an opening. Give him an opening. He'll get you. Same thing. Very similar energy to Jack Smith. Okay, let's move on. Here's a tough one. DM 3133. They're giving me chills. DM 3133 says, is Fani getting kicked off the case? They are doing another hearing. Okay. This is really difficult for me to read, because when my ego, when my will, what I want, what Susan wants gets in there, it's muddies it all up, and I'm wrong, to be honest with you. So really right now, I need to be 10% Susan and 90% spirit guides. And because I'm getting conflicting information, I feel like it's not settled, but I'll tell you what I'm getting. Somebody close to Fani Willis, and I don't know who this is, but somebody close to Fani, somebody she respects, is telling her, step aside. For the good of the country, for the good of this case, step aside. Now, when I go into Fani Willis's energy, she truly in her heart wants what's good for the country and what's good for Georgia, because this is a Georgia case, not a country case, but we all know the implications. In her heart and soul, she really does have that kind of patriotic energy, but she's also a very bullish person. She's you don't get to her role, her level of expertise by being a pushover. You get to that level by standing up to people, by standing for what you believe in. And she believes in this case. She knows this case is a slam dunk, and she knows without a doubt that she can do it, that she can win it. Okay? So she is really of two minds right now. She's torn. Do I step down? And she's also a person who's very pragmatic and practical. She runs the whole scenario, right? Like she would do a pro con. Now that's a very simplified version of what she's doing, but basically a pro con situation. Like, well, if I step down and somebody else takes my role, what are the odds of them actually following through? Right? Like, is it better for me to follow through and get removed or not get removed? Is it better to roll those dice? Or is it better for me to, you know what I mean? Like she's trying to weigh the options. She's really trying to do what's best for Georgia. Truly, she is. Now, when I go into this energy, I'm going to try to sort this out, but they take me to Alvin Bragg. I know. But listen, if you watch me, you know this is how it goes down. So just chill out. Okay. Alvin Bragg came on and promptly let go remember? He let go I think it was two very seasoned, experienced, highly respected prosecutors. Remember? And everybody said, oh, that's it. That case is dead. This case is dead. DOA. Alvin Bragg kicked the knees, kicked the legs out from under this case. Well, guess what, you guys? That's the case that's happening right now. It's the same case. Okay? So what I would say is that regardless of what happens to Fani Willis, this case is going to go forward. And I think these I'm trying to think of a better word than the one I want to use. These terrible people that are trying to remove her from this case for political reasons know that. They know the writings on the wall because of where we are, because of where Trump is. Everybody got the memo. Oh, snap. Our orange leader, the guy that powers us up, even Georgia governor and whatnot, is getting ready to get the plug pulled. That means my power source is gone. What is the best thing for me? If I don't have to answer to this guy, and I know some of y'all are saying, Kemp never answered. Yes, they do. I'll go ahead and argue with me. Come on, let's do it. Let's argue. No, I'm telling you. Yeah, he stands up to him, but he still falls in line with him, just like McConnell. Just like McConnell. 1 minute, they're against him. The next minute, they're doing the bidding. Okay? So they're trying to figure out what's the best situation for me. If Trump is out of the picture, all of a sudden, maybe it's better if Fani Willis comes in and takes out all my political people that I don't like. There's a lot of strategy happening here. That's why I can't call it. That's why it's not written yet. It really depends on how fast Trump goes out. The faster he goes out, the more the cards all get reshuffled and we have a new energetic playbook. Period. End of story. So I would just say to you, regardless of whether or not Fani stays or go, that case is going through. And I would say to you that these higher ups know that. They know that. And they're trying to decide, is it worth the delay? Is the delay really going to help anybody besides Trump? And if Trump is out of the picture, does it really help me? No, it doesn't. Because I got to get elected too. And guess what? Atlanta is a great big old city. And guess what? They happen to like Fani Willis. What if I remove Fani Willis and she runs for governor? You see the strategy? It's not, this is why I try to tell you guys, you can listen to psychic. I don't care who you listen to, right? Some psychics are like, this is going to happen. This isn't going to happen. I'm here to tell you it's a lot more complicated than that. I'm trying to teach you the idea of energy, how energy affects everything. And you can now understand it in your own life, right? So that's the strategy behind this. Does he want, when they got rid of Stacey Abrams, she went and she was already an author. She was already very accomplished in other areas of her life. And she decided to just, detox from that terrible situation and decide, maybe I don't want to do this. Fani Willis, this is her life. This is her life. She's a prosecutor. She's a get shit done woman. Whether you agree with what she gets done or not, she's going to get it done. And she's got aspirations. So I think Kemp and some of these other people are like, I don't know, I'd rather her go after those people than go after me. So that's the game at play here. That's the game at play here. I don't know how it's going to work out. I feel like she's going to win, like she's going to stay on the case and she's going to win her election. But then right now, today, I get no, she's not going to stay on the case. So I can't answer that 100% either way. But let me tell you what, if she gets removed from the case, it's not the end of the story, because Alvin Bragg, same situation. Justice is coming, you guys. Yeah, you can say, I'm going to delay justice for a day, a week, a month, a year, but you're not delaying karma. Karma's coming. You can delay it. You can run. You can run. You can run. You can run. You can hide. Karma's going to find you. This is where we are. It's not our clock. We're not working on our clock. We're working on Spirit's clock. Okay? Let's move on. Let's see. Carol Newsom says, will Governor Abbott of Texas finally get his comeuppance this year? He's in big trouble. I've always seen him in big trouble. I've always seen Lieutenant Governor Patrick and the AG Paxton in big trouble. They're allegedly, and for entertainment purposes only, there is insider trading. There is things you do with money in a washing machine. I have to be very careful what I'm saying here. There's really probably a direct connection to maybe a Mexican cartel. I never said that out loud because that scares the hell out of me. But anyway, that's what I've always seen. But again, justice has a lot on its ticket right now. And I feel like we have to put 45 away. We're going to put some of these congressional people away. We're going to go after some judges. We, meaning the DOJ, meaning the justice system, meaning Spirit and karma. And in that bigger net is this Texas government. I feel like you'll see somebody step down in 2024. I don't think it's going to be Patrick, although it probably should. Even in Texas, they have come for these people. Their own party has come for these people. Truly, they really have. They've tried to indict. They have indicted Paxton, 5 federal indictments. The feds finally rolled over and gave him a slap on the wrist, 5 federal indictments, and he got like $100,000 fine. That's unequal justice. They tried to impeach him. They didn't. The Texas Senate wouldn't do it, even though the House did. They have a real case against Paxton. This is real. This is not make believe. Now, again, it seems to me, if you're picking up a theme here, I am too. The theme park is delay. We are in the theme park called delay your gratification, delay justice. They just showed me Matt Gaetz. He didn't go to jail, but his good friend who had all the same evidence against him, Greenberg, something like that, went to jail, is in jail. Follow this thread. Check this out. Gaetz got off. Michael Cohen went to jail. Trump got off. Weisselberg went to jail. Trump got off. Those times, not now, but in the past, right? And so there's all these all these things where people around them go to jail, but the principal person doesn't go to jail. Now it's all coming back. Again, karma is circled back for Trump with Alvin Bragg. Trump could have gotten off the E. Jean Carroll case with $5 million fine. E. Jean Carroll and lawyers circled back around and nailed him. They're not going to get away with it. He could have gotten away with $5 million fine. Paxton could get away with a $100,000 fine. Gates could have gotten away. But now Florida is now reinvestigating Gates. Do you see the pattern? They all thought they could get off because the energy was such that if you were a certain type of person and a certain type of level, you got off. The energy has switched. We are now going into the age of Aquarius. We're going into a new timeline that says, no. You didn't get the memo. We changed plans. We changed justice plans, like changing your healthcare plan. We changed justice plans, and now you're not going to get away with this because the people are tired of unequal justice and they're coming for you. And everybody got the memo. So I hope that makes sense. I'm channeling. I don't know if I strung it together like I wanted to, but it should all make sense. Alvin Bragg came back. Matt Gates's investigation is coming back. There's going to be another investigation coming back for Abbott, Paxton, and Lieutenant Governor Patrick. No, you're not going to get off scot-free. You might have skipped. You might have delayed it. You're not going to get off scot-free. 2024, going into 2025, 18 months, they're telling me, is justice will no longer be delayed. Okay? We told you in the beginning that abortion was going to be voted down, and we told you it was going to be resurrected. We told you Colorado was going to say Trump can be on the ballot. It happened. We told you Gates was going to be off, but be reinvestigated. It's happening. I'm not 100% always right, but where I'm more accurate is the energy, right? This is what I'm reading right now is the energy. In this case, the energy's bigger than these people's free will. That, my friends, you can bank on for real. Okay, let's do a few more questions. Yeah, this is a great question. I think I had the same question myself. Debbie Kane said, will the Red Tide Brigade get in trouble for doing ex-POTUS, which is ex-presidents, telling them to post about Mershant's daughter? A reporter spotted one of them posting what 45 wanted him to say. They're not going to get in trouble. The Red Tide Brigade, you guys, is Trump is obviously in, I almost said prison. I love it. I love that. Trump is in the courtroom and these Congress people are behind him and they're all wearing red ties as in solidarity with our dear leader. And one of the reasons why that is because Trump is gagged and the spirit guides also told you he's wearing a mask, a spit mask. He's wearing a mask. And then the man himself started talking about Freddy Krueger being like, no, not Freddy Krueger. I always want to call it Freddy Krueger, but he called it the other. Who's the guy? He said, I'm just like, that guy was a good guy. He was, he compared himself to Hannibal Lecter. And that's what I was seeing in my mind. And I kept saying Freddy Krueger, but it was Hannibal Lecter. God, remember I was telling you guys that? I keep seeing him as Hannibal Lecter with this mask on. And then 2 weeks later, he's out there talking about it. Anyway, the mask is the spit mask. The mask is to keep him from talking. He's gagged. Okay, so your question is about, will these Congress people get in trouble for saying what Trump can't say? That's part of the gag order. The gag order says you can't say it, but you also can't tell other people to say it. No, what I see this judge is like, Judge Mershon is basically saying, I need to get to the end of this trial. I just need to get to the end of this trial. He's going to try to ignore things just to get to the end of the trial, because it's the sense, the image is him, he's walking on a high wire. He's doing everything he can to make this case completely tight against going over his head and getting repealed. That's why he's doing so much to sort of give Trump extra this and extra that, because one of the ways you appeal a case is you say the judge didn't give me a fair shake, right? My attorney didn't give me a fair shake. So the judge is doing everything he can to be beyond neutral. And he's not going to go after Trump for using these lackeys to say bad things about his daughter, even though that should be part of the gag order. Yes, it should. No, the judge is not going to do it. The judge is going to give Trump a lot of leeway to be able to prove to the higher courts, when Trump tries to take it to the higher courts, to prove, hey, I gave this guy more than he should have got. He got a fairer trial than anybody should have got it. You can't repeal this case. That's why he's doing it. Okay. Now, my question about that, and this is where I thought you were going, is, are these Congress people going to get in trouble with their constituents? Because remember, we just talked about my friend's dad saying, I'm not voting for that crook. Well, are you going to vote for the crook in your state that stood behind him and supported him? Probably not. Is that crook that stood behind him, the Red Tie Brigade, those House members, are they going to win their races? No, because when 45's power's cut, their power's cut. So I think not only they're not going to get in trouble from the judge, but they're going to get in trouble through guilt by association. That's how they're going to get in trouble. I'm telling you, constituents are over this. I know the polls are wacky, but constituents are over this malarkey. They're over it. Let's see, one more question perhaps. And also, I would just say to you guys, when I game out something, when I go way down the timeline and I say that Trump in the future, it's, he's going to do X, Y, Z, and then you come back at me and say, oh, you said he has no future. I'm just gaming it out as if he did have a future. If he was still here, what would happen? Okay. You guys get confused on that. You're like, well, you said he wasn't going to be around or he's going to be offline, but then you said if he appeals. I'm just telling you what would happen if he were still around. I'm gaming it out. I'm just following the energy as if he were still here. Again, you guys, red, orange. You can't be so, black and white about this. It's energy. Okay. Now, the next question is pretty interesting. Tina Marie says, will any properties be seized prior to the election? Properties, private properties. I'm wondering if you're talking about Mar-a-Lago or something. I don't know what you're talking about. But if if I ask the spirit guide such a open-ended question, any properties? I mean, whose property? There's properties that are seized every day. I can't really ask them that open-end of I really got to be very specific. I mean, very, very specific about the question. So I'm going to say, will any of 45's properties be seized prior to the election? I'm going to say the potential is about 80%. I am seeing something in New York. I'm seeing something in New York. It feels like an apartment or he doesn't own that whole high rise, you guys. He doesn't own everything everybody thinks he owns. He owns very little. And what he does own is leveraged to the hilt. He's got mortgages on it. So I do see like an apartment being seized. For some reason, I just saw Ivanka. I don't know why. I don't know what she has to do with that. Now, I would also say, let's ask the question this way. Will any properties of any elected officials, let me make that tighter. Will any properties of any congressional elected officials be seized before the election? And I say yes. Yes. And it could be a Democrats. It could be somebody like Henry Cuellar. It could be something like Menendez. So that's interesting, right? It could be a Democrat. Okay. And then your next question is, should we invest in deprogramming centers, right? So if you're a longtime watcher, and I think Tina Marie is, a long time ago, the spirit guides talked about the federal government, a public-private partnership where the federal government would give a private company money to open up deprogramming centers. And I don't know why, but I always hear, and I'm still hearing it a year later, Depelchin, which Depelchin, I think it's DEL, but Depelchin is a company that, to my knowledge, runs foster homes. What do you call those? Addiction centers. But I wonder if they get a grant to do this deprogramming. Now, what I see is, and it could be a center, but the energy suggests that these people are deprogramming themselves. They really are. If you Google post-Trump syndrome, if you Google people who are not for Trump anymore, there are groups springing up. There's actually YouTube channels with people who are prior Trump devotees who've now seen the light, and they're helping other people see the light, because it can't be me or you. It's got to be somebody who is in the cult to help them get out of the cult. So luckily, we're dealing with this now. So we may not need a center. We may actually work through this now. What we might need is government grants that people can go to therapy. So I can see the government saying, if you go to a therapist and this therapist says that you have this diagnosis, maybe there's going to be a new diagnosis in the DM 4 or 5, 8, whatever we're on, whatever the diagnosis book is for psychiatrists. If you have this diagnosis, we'll pay for 6 months of therapy for you. Seriously. So so the energy, right? The energy is the same. Maybe not deprogramming centers, maybe deprogramming therapists, because we as humans are working through the energy on our own right now. By the time we get to 25 and Biden can make this a reality, we might not need centers. We might just need some sort of extra help. Okay. Okay, I'm going to end this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down below your thoughts. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe. If you want to help Democrats, you might share it with a local Democrat group or Democrat club or your Democratic friends. Hit the like button, leave me your comments, and most of all, take really good care of yourself, right? All our power's here. It's not out there, even though, yes, we need the Jack Smith. Yes, we need the Biden. Yes, we need all these amazing Democratic colleagues, these Democratic elected officials. Don't overlook how much power you have. You are the one who makes it all happen. Get a group together. Find your people. Okay? Take really, really good care, everybody. I'll see you again real soon with another video. For entertainment purposes only.